reality is, again, we're all made to worship, and we're made to worship a glorious God. But each of us has a deep problem. We have a deep problem that we want to, as believers, and as believers who worship weekly and believers who worship throughout the week, we want to address that deep problem, and by our worship, we show the world what we value. The problem is sin. That problem is sin. You see, because you and I were created, we were created to worship, but there's a problem, and your life shows it. My life shows it. There are things that rise to the surface, and I begin to value some things above the Lord, and what ends up happening is that I show that by my life. So if I want to bring hope to people with the truth of Jesus, I need to first be hoping in Jesus. I need to worship Jesus. And there are, again, other gods like power, comfort, control, approval. They capture our attention, even while there is something far greater than these things that capture my attention. C.S. Lewis spoke of this in The Weight of Glory. This is a great place to read this particular quote. Sorry I don't have it up on the screen for you, but it's in The Weight of Glory. If you want to look it up, that's the place you can find it. But you've heard it, I think, before. If you're a Christian and you've been a Christian for a little while, you've heard this before. If you haven't, please read The Weight of Glory. He says this in the middle of it: it would seem that our Lord finds our desires not too strong, but too weak. We are half-hearted creatures fooling about with drink and sex and ambition when infinite joy is offered to us. We are like an ignorant child who wants to go on making mud pies in a slum because he cannot imagine what is meant by the offer of a holiday at sea. You see, we're far too easily pleased. C.S. Lewis nailed it, and here we are on a paradise island, so easily captured by all of the joys of life, and yet there is a greater joy, which is the worship of Jesus.